What happens when the sea whispers promises of treasure, but demands blood in return? The coastal village of Evershore thrives in perfect harmony. Fishermen cast their nets into azure waters, their faces weathered by salt and sun. At the bustling market, a woman haggles for the day's best catch. Life here moves to the rhythm of tide and wind. In the marketplace, a mother and daughter share sweet moments over candy. But as the sun begins to set, Lotterelli Aphina realizes with mounting panic she's late. She promised to be home before dinner. Grabbing her quiver and bow, she declares she'll catch tonight's meal herself. Behind her, young Raltia watches with growing frustration. Lott races through the forest, her mind already planning a trip to the market for candy bribes. But then, smoke rises in the distance. A thunderous explosion shatters the peaceful evening. She freezes, heart hammering, as debris rains down around her. What could cause such destruction? Terror erupts through the village as flames consume everything. A dark-haired boy screams desperately for his mother and sister. Adults flee with their children, shouting warnings to hide in the trees. The horrifying truth crashes down like a tidal wave. The notorious Woohoppiage Pirates have arrived. Their reputation precedes them. Few survive their raids. In the chaos, a young man with lavender eyes questions what the pirates want from him. Around him, savage men laugh wildly as they destroy everything in sight. One pirate in a red and gold coat revels in the carnage. But their search proves fruitless. They found only a single feather. Where is that cursed bird they seek? A young girl creeps through shadowy hallways, her heart pounding as she overhears the intruders. How do they know about her seabird? The question chills her to the bone. She runs through darkened rooms, pleading for divine protection. Almost no one survives the Woohoppiage, but perhaps fate will spare her family this time. Horror strikes like lightning. A young man stares in absolute shock as blood splatters across the walls. Below him, a woman lies motionless in a pool of crimson. His voice cracks as he screams denial. No, no, this cannot be happening. He reaches toward her with trembling hands, begging her to wake up. Tears stream down her face as she cradles the lifeless body in her arms. Blood stains her dress as she sobs, her grief echoing through the chaos. Nearby, the dark-haired boy watches with tears glistening in his blue eyes. Where is Raltia? The desperate search begins through the devastated rooms. A voice cries out that she isn't here. A girl in red rushes outside, calling Raltia's name in desperation. A striking lavender eye widens in shock and fear. Then she sees it, a figure in the ominous shadows. Her scream pierces the air as the horrifying truth is revealed. Raltia, bound and gagged. Rage explodes as a muscular man grabs a wooden stick, roaring for the pirate to release the girl. But his fury has a darker target. He tackles another man to the ground, accusing him of bringing this curse upon them. The seabird's chosen one becomes the village's scapegoat. The wooden weapon rises. Falls. Justice or vengeance? A young girl kneels, gasping her thanks to the village chief. But his furious roar silences her completely. The villagers' grief transforms into rage as they point accusing fingers at Lott. You're a curse, they snarl. You bring nothing but death and misery. The seabird's blessing has become her damnation. In stark contrast to the violence, a magnificent blue bird soars through the fiery sunset, its feathers catching the dying light. A single feather drifts down like a falling star. Meanwhile, somewhere on the dark waters, a slave ship cuts through the waves. A gruff man kicks a sleeping figure awake with cruel satisfaction. In the ship's dim belly, a distressed young man makes a sarcastic comment about beauty sleep and ugly captors. His defiance costs him dearly. When he spits in his captor's face, the man explodes with rage. Vicious kicks rain down as the captive is thrown to the floor. Ungrateful wench, the slaver snarls. The beaten captive struggles on the ground, bound at the wrists, coughing in defeat. His captor mocks him cruelly. Even his own village didn't want him. As the captives are herded along like cattle, a white substance suddenly splats onto the guard's face. His shocked reaction echoes through the hold. Stupid bird. 2 weeks have passed since the devastating raid. In a snow-covered landscape, Lott contemplates her next move. The weather won't change for a while, her companion notes. This is their best chance to act. But Lott's mind races with uncertainty. She must find Raltia before something terrible happens. How do the pirates know about her sister? Through a ship's circular window, another vessel appears on the horizon. Domem Lenkaro, a young man with blonde hair and a yellow bandana, peers through his telescope with confidence. That's definitely their target. The hunt begins as a large dog steps onto the deck. A red-haired authority figure barks orders. Report to the captain immediately. Legend speaks of a divine being who favored sailors above all others. This radiant figure, surrounded by golden light, protected seafarers from the countless terrors lurking in ocean's depths. Birds and sea creatures alike basked in this protector's grace. Here was hope incarnate, watching over those who dared brave the endless blue. But even divine power breeds envy. In the shadows, tentacle-like forms writhe with jealousy. One night, consumed by this poison, a trusted friend murdered the divine protector in his sleep. The sea erupted in fury. Waves crashed against shores. Lightning split the sky. Islands drowned in the depths as the ocean's rage knew no bounds. From this chaos arose new protectors of marine life. Yet one diverged from the rest, taking a different path entirely. As the tale grows darker, young Raltia suddenly shouts for it to stop. The 12-year-old's eyes widen with fear as she warns against discussing such ominous subjects. It's bad luck to speak of these ancient curses. Under a sunny tree, Lott sits with an open book, suggesting they skip ahead to read about treasures. Her friend prefers different stories, but Lott playfully insists. Aren't you curious about the horizon, where sky meets sea? When she mentions sea monsters, her friend demands she take it back. Laughter erupts as Lott tickles her mercilessly. Peaceful moments under blue skies. Two girls lie in the grass, one wondering aloud if her father will take her fishing next time. Her friend worries. What if he doesn't return this time? Lost at sea for 20 days? But Lott promises it will be fine. She plucks a flower as a bird soars overhead, hope still alive in their young hearts. Beautiful bluebirds take flight as young Lott declares her determination to protect her friend Balka. She chases after the bird as it flies away, her companion laughing at the playful chaos. In this sunlit field, surrounded by friends, Lott feels invincible. As long as they're together, she won't be scared of anything. Simple times, simple promises. Now the reality is far different. Aboard a ship's busy kitchen, workers scramble under the watchful eye of a strict leader. Keep those hands moving, he barks, warning against wasting food. But when a brown-haired boy accidentally knocks over carrots, the leader's fury explodes. You useless rat. The boy apologizes desperately, fear etched in every feature. A shadow looms as tension reaches its peak. An older boy with darker skin intervenes, shouting "you again" at his blue-haired companion. Despite his own vulnerable position, the younger boy suggests the spilled food can be salvaged if washed. He volunteers for the dangerous task, his bruised face showing determination beneath the fear. The stern adult shouts for more potatoes, his impatience growing dangerous. Lott's eyes widen as she realizes the deadly intent behind the demand. Is he trying to kill me? She wonders, attempting to flee. A loud bang echoes as chaos erupts. Disheveled and panting, she desperately searches for escape while worrying about Balka flying too close to danger. The large blue bird Balka offers a sorrowful apology, but Lott insists it's not his fault. The real enemies are those who created this nightmare. She clenches her fists, vowing to retrieve Raltia from their captors. Near the water's edge, they discuss the impossibility of stealing a boat. Balka warns that fighting back would endanger innocent children. In the ship's dim cabin, Lott gently cradles Balka, promising to return later and urging caution. Alone with her thoughts, Anxiety consumes her. She can't risk losing Raltia's trail. But waiting feels equally dangerous. Every moment of delay could mean losing her sister forever. The burden of choice weighs heavily on her young shoulders. A rugged man with unkempt hair berates a terrified boy for taking a break. Lazy good-for-nothing, he snarls, raising his hand to strike. But suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the ship. Both captor and captive freeze in shock. What the hell was that? The boy crouches defensively, ready to bolt at the first opportunity. Chaos erupts as cannon fire splits the air. Crew members scramble frantically, all hands on deck. Man the cannons. Panicked voices cry that they're doomed. Through the smoke and debris, a pirate ship emerges with its flag flying proudly. The infamous Black Ocean captain appears, commanding his crew to show no mercy. A dark-haired pirate smirks at his blonde companion, who angrily tells him to shut up. Objects whistle through the air as the battle intensifies. Ships crash together with tremendous force. The rallying cry echoes across the waters. Charge! In the midst of this naval warfare, a blue-haired boy braces against the chaos surrounding him. The blue-haired boy stares in terror, his eyes wide with fear. Who are these people attacking the ship? Dark shadows and thick smoke swirl around him as he struggles with his restraints. Meanwhile, above the chaos, a serene blue bird soars, a stark contrast to the violence below. Someone executes a dramatic escape move with a metallic clang. A frightened boy asks what's happening as debris scatters around him. Are these people trying to rob the ship? He wonders. A piercing scream cuts through the battle as weapons clash. He watches tensely as a man in a dark coat fights desperately against a burly opponent in red, the violence escalating with each passing moment. A dark-haired man grins with confident malice as chaos unfolds. The pirate captain glances over, beard bristling with authority. Suddenly, a young man charges forward shouting "Gotcha!" But the violent slash that follows brings unexpected blood. The wounded captain's surprise is evident as he realizes these newcomers might actually be allies, not enemies. Bodies tumble through the air as the ship tilts dangerously in rough waters. A panicked man grips the wheel, screaming that he doesn't want to die here. Then a massive black dog advances with predatory grace. Its powerful jaws snap shut in a vicious attack, forcing the terrified sailor to leap away with a cry of fear. The battle reaches its climax as swords clash with metallic fury. A red-haired warrior holds his blade to a terrified man's throat, declaring he's not going anywhere. Blood splatters as another fighter curses his attackers. But hope arrives as a heroic figure calls out that they're here to help, urging everyone to come aboard their rescue vessel. On the chaotic dock, a young boy climbs desperately up a rope, fear etched on his face. A voice warns that it's not safe here as fierce battles rage below. A man in a brown bandana shouts orders while another fighter is slammed back, wounded. The antagonist mocks their efforts, calling them bilge-sucking swine. Never surrender. A loud thud echoes as a dark-haired woman frantically shouts for her sister to run. She clutches a panicked boy while a massive man threatens him with a knife. The pirate captain steps forward, demanding the weapon be lowered so they can negotiate peacefully. But desperation makes people dangerous, and this man has nothing left to lose. The blond man's face contorts with rage as he screams that the child's blood will be on their hands. His weapon flashes and a deadly arc blood splatters across the scene as violence erupts. A blue-haired boy's terrified scream pierces the air, his wide eyes reflecting pure horror as shadows loom over his trembling form. A red-haired swordsman with dual blades shouts for a woman to save herself as danger closes in. He steps forward confidently while chains rattle around her ankle. A cloaked figure declares it's over. Time to give up. But hope isn't dead yet. Someone pushes through the chaos, roaring for others to get out of the way. The fight continues. Wooden debris splinters as the ship begins to break apart. Young Lott watches in horror, clutching driftwood defensively. A bright blue bird soars above the churning waters, a symbol of hope in this nightmare. Someone calls his name urgently as he plunges into the sea with a massive splash. Underwater, bubbles rise as he sinks into the dark depths. Deep underwater, a bound boy struggles against his restraints while another character desperately tries to cut the ropes. The cutting tool proves useless. It won't cut through. Panic sets in as air becomes precious. The tied boy's face contorts with fear as a terrible thought consumes him. Can't breathe. Time is running out in these crushing depths. A blond man struggles beneath the surface, his thoughts desperate and defiant. He can't die here. Not when someone needs him. The scene shifts to a peaceful memory. 3 people sharing a warm meal, including radiant Raltia, surrounded by flowers. A boy jolts awake, remembering she needs him. Looking at the sky in confusion, he whispers, "I'm alive?" The oversized bluebird scolds the young man for scaring him, their relationship one of casual familiarity. Lott embraces Balka joyfully, thanking the sea gods for their survival. A man in a brown vest reveals he cut the ropes, joking about the difficulty of eating with bound hands. Relief floods through Lott as freedom returns to his limbs. Now safe, Lott questions whether these pirates are truly the good guys. The muscular blond man with the bandana grins widely, holding food and confirming they're the heroes of this story. But Lott frowns in confusion. "Aren't you pirates?" The man laughs, asking why pirates can't be good people. After all, they saved him, didn't they? Underwater currents shift as the red-haired rescuer surveys the exhausted boy on the ocean floor. Taking a deep breath, he questions the boy's ability to hold his breath for so long. The boy looks up with wide, surprised eyes. There's playful banter about the red-haired man's striking appearance. Easy on the eyes, indeed. On the ship's deck, golden hour light bathes the scene in warmth. Lott expresses heartfelt gratitude to his sandy-haired savior, who deflects credit to the bluebird. Balka squawked persistently above Lott's position, guiding the rescue. Without the bird's help, the man admits, he never would have found him. Balka preens with characteristic confidence. The bluebird Balka perches smugly on Lott's shoulder as he thanks it for being annoying. The red-haired man suggests getting out of those wet clothes first, showing genuine care. A girl with light brown hair steps forward, expressing gratitude for their earlier help. The crew creates a supportive atmosphere, reassuring her of her bravery. Lott asks about the pirates' treatment of the boy, who confirms they're much nicer than the evil bandits he knew before. The muscular blonde pats his head affectionately, declaring of course they treat kids well. Behind them, a girl dances enthusiastically as the man introduces them as the legendary Black Ocean Crew, slayers of monsters and the coolest crew on the 7 seas. As twilight settles over the ship, the red-haired man's expression grows serious and determined. His thoughts turn to his ultimate goal as he speaks with quiet intensity. "Raltia, I'm coming." The boy watches him with wide eyes, a mixture of fear and anticipation evident on his face. The sunset casts dramatic shadows as tension builds between them. Land appears on the horizon as the ship approaches shore, bathed in golden light. A robust crew member with a red bandana shouts, "Land ho!" while the sandy-haired boy organizes the children's disembarkation. Lott cradles his blue bird, marveling at this new village, his first time beyond his home's borders. But his mind races with one burning question. How can he track down the Woohoppiage from here? But who is this young boy with curly brown hair among the crew? Praise, barely 14, serves as cabin boy to the captain himself. His older brother Bees, the carpenter with glasses, watches over him with protective care. Even among pirates, family bonds run deeper than blood. Lott's tales of adventure captivate the boy completely. Over 1,000 islands visited. The child's eyes widen with wonder at such impossible journeys. But their conversation draws unwanted attention. A muscular blonde approaches with serious intent, his ornate clothing marking him as someone important. Tension erupts between the red-haired man and the blonde officer. Orders are barked about bringing someone back before sundown. But who's really in charge here? The blonde's sarcasm cuts deep as he questions his responsibilities. Meanwhile, someone clutches a paper with white knuckles. The man with the red bandana makes a fateful decision. Saving Raltia isn't his business, but he can't stand by. When the captain greets his subordinate, asking about new scars, the atmosphere shifts. But then, an unexpected sound makes blood run cold. Woohoppiage. In a ship's cabin, desperation drives the dark-haired boy to plead his case. He wants to join the hunt for the Woohoppiage, needs to be part of it. But the burly man dismisses him coldly. The sea isn't meant for landlubbers like him. The boy's determination wavers between hope and despair. The captain grins wickedly, promising a place aboard, but not the one the boy expects. Off with the other landlubbers. The crushing reality hits. He's being dismissed like cargo. The majestic ship prepares to sail while a black wolf watches from shore. Above, a bird soars free. But below, harsh reality strikes. The man in the red cloak commands the boy to leave with authority that brooks no argument. The boy's face crumbles with disappointment. Rage ignites in Ten's eyes. Get played. The fury burns through his veins. But determination follows quickly. He will get on that ship, no matter what obstacles stand his way. Sometimes an old man's kindness provides unexpected help, even if it's just enough for shoes. Ten argues with Balka about strategy and tact. The blue bird seems unimpressed by Ten's planning skills. But wait, there's that mysterious bird again. The crew notices it too, pointing and exclaiming. Something about this creature draws everyone's attention. Ten marvels at meeting another talking animal. First a female who called to her owner Lott, now this wolf. But the black wolf harbors obvious disdain for birds, especially the loud and noisy ones. Their conversation reveals deeper mysteries about seabirds and extinction. The red-haired crew member becomes an instant hit with the local children. They cheer his strength as he effortlessly carries heavy boxes and barrels. Wow, mister, you're pretty strong. Their innocent excitement brings lightness to the dock as they beg to be lifted up too. The children's laughter fills the air as they ride on the tall man's shoulders. WAH and TADA, they cry with pure delight. But something feels off. Why does this feel heavier than it should? The man's confusion grows as an unexpected weight bears down on him. Ten struggles with his burden while Kilo calls out in relief. They were afraid they have to sail without him. But the black dog senses something more sinister lurking nearby. A mysterious figure whispers about guarding doors. Danger approaches from the shadows. Lott confronts Ten about his obvious stowaway attempt. Hard to miss someone staring daggers from a pier. When Ten reveals he's after the Woohoppiage, Lott's knowledge runs deeper than expected. Does this have anything to do with your sister? How could he possibly know? Chaos in the water. Lott calls desperately for a rope as Ten clings to him in panic. The boy's anguished cries pierce the air. Don't take my sister. His desperation is raw, primal. But would revealing this truth actually help his cause? The gamble is everything. Frustration mounts as the tall man tries to focus on work. But Ten won't give up. He demands a chance to prove himself worthy. Give me a chance. The plea hangs in the air like a challenge. If he wants to be worthy of this ship, what price will he have to pay? The tavern erupts with anticipation. Ten faces Kilo in a sword duel, his heart pounding with inexperience and fear. Let's see what you've got, kid. Ten's honest thoughts reveal everything. He's never fought before, hasn't held a sword in years. But he has nothing left to lose. Balka warns Lott to be careful as the battle begins. Ten's cry of alarm echoes through the chaos. AU, as he dodges and weaves with desperate determination. Despite his terror, his resolve burns bright. I'll join the Black Ocean crew no matter what. Steel clashes against steel with a resounding clang. The red-haired man shouts commands as weapons meet in violent collision. Keep pushing forward. Don't let him get back. The rocky coastline becomes a battlefield where retreat means certain failure. The duel intensifies as Ten's persistence impresses even his opponent. You're persistent, I'll give you that. But experience tells in combat. Kilo's blade finds its mark. Blood spurts from Ten's shoulder as the boy grimaces in pain. First blood to the veteran. Ten's strength wavers as blood stains his shirt. His legs tremble under the crushing weight of Kilo's superior skill. "Ah, what's the matter, kid?" The taunt cuts deeper than any blade. Can Ten's determination overcome his lack of experience? Balka calls out in alarm. Ten turns Kilo's mockery into advantage. "My weak legs, huh? Thanks for the tip." He lunges forward with renewed purpose, catching his opponent off guard. Meanwhile, spectators place their bets. Most favor the experienced pirate over the landlubber. But underestimating desperation is dangerous.
Combat becomes a deadly dance of steel. Dash! Ten charges with desperate speed while Kilo's blade creates a symphony of clang and swish sounds. The inexperienced boy manages to land a solid hit, a CK, sending his opponent stumbling backward onto the ground.
Ten realizes his crucial disadvantage. If I can't match up in strength, then I'll just have to make it up in speed. His strategy shifts from power to agility. The tall-caped figure responds with fierce intensity as their battle becomes a blur of motion and clashing steel. The battle reaches its brutal climax. Kilo's kick connects with a sickening thwack, sending Ten reeling. "You damn landlubber!" Blood and exhaustion take their toll as Ten struggles to breathe. Kilo demands surrender, but Ten's spirit refuses to break. Not when his sister needs him. When asked to give up, Ten's response is absolute. Never. His defiance burns through pain and exhaustion. Kilo charges forward, but Ten leaps into action with renewed purpose. "I'm not letting you get in my way." Their swords meet with a thunderous clang. The final clash begins. Ten's declaration echoes through the tavern. "Not you, nor the Woohoppiage." His opponent mocks his chances against such legendary pirates. "A scrawny pansy like you?" But Ten deflects each attack with growing skill, proving that determination can overcome experience. The brat has come far. The cloaked figure strikes with vicious precision, forcing Ten to duck low. But leaving his legs exposed proves costly, exactly as predicted. The follow-up attack barely misses as Ten escapes with a desperate KUH. He reflects soberly. Facing the Woohoppiage will require much more training.
Victory! Ten stands triumphant over the fallen Kilo, who curses his defeat. The tavern erupts. Yeah, and what the hell? The impossible has happened. A robust pirate captain approaches with a grin, extending the ultimate offer. "Welcome to the Black Ocean crew." Ten has earned his place through blood and determination.
The crew welcomes their newest member with genuine warmth. "Guess you're one of us now." Ten smiles bashfully as Balka perches on his shoulder, sharing in the moment. A handsome man in a red-brown coat extends his hand in friendship. After so much struggle, acceptance feels surreal. As storm clouds gather overhead, the atmosphere shifts between celebration and uncertainty. The bearded captain makes light conversation while a woman observes with quiet concern. "That's nice," she remarks, but her eyes suggest deeper worries about what lies ahead. The Black Wolf watches ominously from the shadows. Ten receives the grand tour of his new home. The muscular pirate introduces him to crew dynamics, while a talking bluebird adds its own commentary with a curious caw. The mess hall bustles with activity, card games, conversations, and the camaraderie that makes a ship feel like family. In the cozy kitchen, tension simmers beneath friendly banter. Should someone break up the fighting outside? Nah, just healthy bickering. Johan introduces Bredick, who could treat Ten's wounds. But Ten hesitates, revealing his injured body would expose his greatest secret. The charismatic Johan winks knowingly. Ten's confusion grows. Did Johan just wink at him? In the officers' quarters, strict rules apply. No entry without the captain's summons, and always knock before entering. But the man in a maroon vest delivers a harsh warning. Don't think I've accepted you. What you had was beginner's luck. Confrontation erupts as the blonde officer asserts dominance. Let's get one thing straight. You don't belong here. But Ten refuses to be intimidated. The heated exchange draws attention from everyone, including the wise captain who dismisses it as typical behavior. Meanwhile, something special about Balka's deep blue coloring catches notice. The ship's facilities tour continues with enthusiastic explanations about the shower room and its unconventional setup. Ten looks flustered by the casual attitude toward privacy. "Oh, you need a shower, mate?" The talking parrot adds to the surreal nature of his new reality aboard this very unusual pirate vessel. Embarrassment reaches new heights as Ten angrily denies having certain equipment. The crew's teasing grows more pointed. Why so angry about it? A muscular, red-haired man tries to reassure him that everything will be fine, while Ten clutches Balka and exclaims in mortification. The innocent ribbing hits too close to home. The crew marvels at the muscular embrace between pirates, making Balka comment on the impressive display. Ten desperately tells Balka to shut up as observations about being hugged by a muscular man become increasingly uncomfortable. In the sleeping quarters, Kilo curls up peacefully, completely different from his fierce fighting persona. The wolf's golden eyes pierce through the shadows as Ten nervously asks about sleeping arrangements. "You get your own hammock too?" But the crew's smirk suggests something ominous. "We have a special spot for rookies." As items near the edge create suspense, Ten realizes his accommodation might not be what he expected. The cruel reality of rookie initiation becomes clear. Ten must sleep on deck under the stars for his first week. All rookies need to be acquainted with life at sea. While the blonde pirate frames it as fun adventure, Ten's exhausted. Yeah, fun reveals his true feelings about this maritime hazing ritual. Night brings new challenges as Ten wraps himself in a blanket against the wind. "I hate pirates," he declares while the crew offers helpful advice about seasickness and deck protocol. But despite his misery, Ten's determination shines through. "I did sign up for this, so let's make the best of it." Under the starlit sky, Ten uses a telescope to gaze at the vast blue sea. A silvery-haired figure with striking blue eyes offers comfort. "Don't worry when I'll be around." Later, safe in his makeshift quarters, Ten argues with Balka about their sleeping arrangements. Even after all that effort, the bird insists on rest. In the quiet darkness, Ten and Balka share intimate conversation. He brags about defeating that purple guy, while Balka questions why he hides his gender. Is it to spend time with that pretty boy? Ten firmly denies it, remembering his father's warning. The sea doesn't take kindly to women. The truth cuts deep. Sleep proves elusive as the blonde pirate's snores echo through the cabin. Ten jokes about wanting to lay on his face to silence him, but refuses to harm sleeping crewmates. The large black dog watches with amusement as Ten decides to leave, preferring the soothing sound of waves to thunderous snoring. In the dimly lit storage area, Ten worries about how the rookie is managing the cold night. But the black wolf urges him to stop thinking about the stowaway and his bird. When Ten asks for an old fairy tale, the wolf protests, "It's not a fairy tale." Something about the master of the sea runs deeper than legend. The mystical tale unfolds as seabirds are revealed as divine guides, tasked with steering sailors through the sky god's mischief and fury. A striking blue bird appears surrounded by golden light, while shadowy figures hoard treasure below. The cosmic balance between guidance and greed begins to emerge from ancient legend. But paradise turned to hell, burning ships, the horizon as sailors turn against each other in bloody chaos. Their obsession with the precious bird blinds them to its true nature. They never understood. As violence consumes everything, a young winged figure soars above the destruction. "I'm fine, really. But is he?" Back in reality, Ten questions the wolf's belief that Balka is one of those legendary seabirds. Believe what you want. The tension builds as Ten insists it's not him trapped in any cage. But assumptions are dangerous. especially when they concern beings of myth and legend. Panic strikes as Ten searches frantically through containers. Wait, where is it? Something crucial has gone missing, causing immediate alarm. The wolf watches with growing concern as Ten realizes the horrible truth. It's gone. What has vanished that could cause such distress? The peaceful harbor view offers no answers. Morning brings chaos as Ten is rudely awakened on deck. The purple-haired officer commands him to get down here and earn his keep. But where is Balka? Ten's back aches from sleeping on hardwood, and his precious companion seems to have vanished. What dangers await this rookie's first full day aboard the Black Ocean? Ten stands confidently on deck, Balka perched proudly on his shoulder. He's already proven himself once. No need for more reminders. But the bluebird's fierce loyalty shows as she threatens to claw anyone who crosses her companion. Then disaster strikes. A glass slides beneath Ten's feet, sending him tumbling to the deck in a bewildering crash. What should have been a moment of triumph becomes, well, this. A bottle ship catches someone's attention as Ten scrambles to respond to the shouting. "I'm coming," he yells, brandishing his sword with obvious annoyance. The maritime atmosphere buzzes with tension as birds circle overhead. Then Nestor appears, stoic, coat billowing, briefcase in hand. His calm question cuts through the chaos like a blade through silk. Water splashes urgently as Ten continues his frantic search. The dark-haired crew member questions his luck with mocking confidence. But hierarchy rules this ship. One wrong tone, and the captain's wrath follows. Ten's response drips with sarcasm about these pathetic pirates and their constant threats. Still, he knows when to back down. Yeah, sure, I'll move along now. Reality sets in as Ten contemplates his new life aboard the Black Ocean. Will every day be spent swabbing these endless decks? The blonde crew member in his green vest offers cheerful assistance, joking about Netier's popularity. Their red-haired companion smirks in agreement. Despite the mundane work ahead, camaraderie blooms among the barrels and rigging. The red-haired officer mocks Ten's refined sensibilities. Too good for manual labor? But then something extraordinary happens. The large black dog opens its mouth and speaks. Just like Balka, this wolf can communicate in human tone. It angrily tells Ten to drop his act, knowing full well he can understand every word. Ten stares in shock as drool hits the deck. Ten wipes the wolf's face, wondering if this aggressive behavior is just intimidation tactics. The red-haired owner apologizes. His companion isn't good with strangers. For a pirate crew, this level of politeness seems almost refreshing. The blonde crew member notes Ten's unusual thoughtfulness toward animals. But the wolf's eyes promise this isn't over. Work comes before conversation aboard this vessel. The blonde crew member handles crates while Ten nurses his facial cut, frustration radiating from every glance. Then Captain Vance himself appears, white-haired, ornate coat gleaming with authority. His message is crystal clear. Pull your weight or get off his ship. Ten mutters, "Asshole," under his breath as tensions simmer. The vice captain's dismissive tone cuts deep as he tells Ten to wander elsewhere or actually work. Authority clashes with authority in this tense exchange. A bearded pirate encourages the lad to explore, while Ten observes the constant friction between these brothers. Are Utulguril and Kielos always at each other's throats? The answer comes with resignation, pretty much. Family rivalries run deep on the Black Ocean. The blonde officer explains the hierarchy. Utulguril, the legitimate son, holds more weight than Kielos, born of a mistress. Ten grasps the dynamics quickly as Balka rests on his shoulder. But something else catches his attention. Someone's watching him from across the deck. The weight of unseen eyes creates an uncomfortable chill. The engine room beckons as crew members prepare to descend below decks. Balka perches alertly while the green-vested sailor calls for assistance. Ten's curiosity peaks. He never got the full tour last time. Domem prepares to help with the heavy levers as they anticipate the impressive machinery waiting in the ship's mechanical heart. Machinery whirs to life in the dimly lit workshop. Lott, the bespectacled engineer, greets the newcomers as green lights flicker across control panels. He asks Bees to turn something, though uncertainty clouds the younger man's expression. When Praise's name is mentioned, surprise ripples through the room. Then chaos. Praise tumbles through the air with comedic timing, adding unexpected levity to their technical tour. Deep in the steampunk-inspired engine room, Lott explains the ship's complex operations. Usually he and Praise can handle everything smoothly, but today the machinery rebels against their expertise. Ten asks probing questions while the enthusiastic younger crew member interjects with wonder about their mechanical marvels. Pipes gleam and components glow as technical knowledge flows between them. The magic stones prove heavier than expected as Ten struggles with their weight. These glowing power sources fuel their entire vessel, but supplies run dangerously low. The captain demands swift passage to Coral Island, putting pressure on every crew member. As they discuss their dwindling resources, questions arise about their informant's reliability. Can they trust the intelligence that's driving this urgent mission? Wisdom echoes through the engine room. Never trust anyone but your own crew. Pirate's motto. The lesson explains why Captain Vance tests every new member so harshly. But suddenly, a menacing voice cuts through their conversation. "Oh, why, Bildrat?" The dark-robed figure demands Ten's immediate presence. The captain calls, and when Captain Vance summons you, you answer. In the well-lit captain's quarters, interrogation begins. The blonde officer poses the crucial question while Captain Vance listens intently from his chair. His rugged appearance and folded arms convey absolute authority as he leans forward. The atmosphere grows heavy with expectation. Why does Ten pursue the Woohoppiage Pirates? What drives this young man's desperate quest across dangerous seas? Captain Vance's penetrating gaze cuts through every pretense. He knows everything about his crew, their histories, their motivations, their secrets. This knowledge breeds trust, but Ten remains an unknown variable. The young man's anxiety radiates as he feels cornered by scrutiny. Balka shifts nervously on his shoulder while the captain's intensity fills the room like a storm cloud. A contract appears, rules to ensure smooth sailing aboard the Black Ocean. No secrets among crew members. Complete transparency required. Captain Vance explains his need for absolute loyalty while Ten examines the parchment with growing apprehension. Privacy becomes a luxury this ship cannot afford. But why was Ten so desperate to join this crew? The captain demands answers. Balka streaks through the air with desperate speed. Don't you dare touch her. Udalgural's protective instincts explode as he reaches for his unconscious crewmate. The red-haired officer watches with calculated calm, telling him to maintain composure. But the Black Ocean has standards. Weak sailors have no place among these hardened pirates. The stakes couldn't be clearer. Truth spills from Ten's lips like blood from a wound. The Woohoppiage plundered his village, took his sister. Fear and determination war in his blue eyes as he recalls the traumatic attack. But why target one girl among many? Captain Vance leans forward, sensing deeper currents beneath this tale. Every word carries weight as Ten's fabricated story hangs by the thinnest thread. Ten weaves his lie with desperate conviction. His sister's beauty captivated the enemy captain's eyes. Love turned to obsession, obsession to abduction. But Captain Vance's expression grows somber as harsh reality intrudes. If the Woohoppiage have her, time runs short. Women face terrible fates at sea. The captain's warning hits like a physical blow. She's probably already dead. One final test awaits. Captain Vance grips the contract as he poses the ultimate question: crew loyalty versus personal loyalty. If sacrifice becomes necessary, which side would Ten choose? The young man's internal struggle is written across his face. Logic wars with emotion as he contemplates an impossible choice. His very survival may depend on this answer. Greed defines pirates, and Ten's answer reveals his true nature. Captain Vance smirks with grudging approval while the white-robed figure observes in silence. You're dismissed. The words carry finality as Ten prepares to leave. But something deeper lingers in the captain's comment about worst backgrounds. On this ship, Everyone seeks redemption from their darkest moments.
As Ten prepares to exit, casual conversation turns dangerous. The captain compliments Balka's vibrant blue feathers, asking innocent questions about her breed. Ten's shock ripples through the room like thunder. His wide eyes betray sudden panic. This seemingly harmless inquiry could unravel everything. Balka remains calm, but her presence marks Ten as someone special. Orders echo as Udalgirl receives his surveillance assignment. Meanwhile, Ten's relief is palpable. That was too close. The captain's overwhelming presence nearly shattered his carefully constructed facade. His thoughts race as footsteps carry him toward the bustling deck. How long can he maintain these dangerous deceptions? The crew's secrets are nothing compared to his own. Those piercing blue eyes burn with determination as Udalgirl and his black wolf companion begin their hunt. The wolf's keen nose searches for traces while tension crackles through the air. Suddenly, Balka's triumphant cry rings out. Found you. The wolf pounces without warning, chaos erupting as Ten struggles against powerful jaws. Commands fly as the search reaches its explosive conclusion. Panic strikes as the precious bottle tumbles through bright sunlight. Udalgirl's desperate cry echoes across the deck. My bottle! Catch! Time slows as hands reach out in desperation. The bottle ship spins through the air, precious contents at risk of shattering forever. Will quick reflexes save this mysterious treasure, or will it become just another casualty of life aboard the Black Ocean? High above the endless ocean, Balka soars through crystal blue skies while waves crash below. The mysterious wolf watches with ancient wisdom gleaming in its dark eyes. Adventure calls from every horizon as two unlikely companions navigate their intertwined destinies. But what secrets lie beneath the surface of this tale? What darkness awaits in the depths ahead? The Seabird and the Wolf. Their story has only just begun.